Sherry Papini has been holed up inside her Redding, California home since she was found, chained, savagely beaten, and branded with what is described as a threatening message.
Have you talked to Sherry?
I talked to her just after she was home.
And what did she say to you?
We cried on the phone for about 10 minutes, and she just said how grateful she was that she was home.
Did Keith ever reach out to you?
I've communicated with him 3 times since then.
What did he tell you?
He says she's having a tough time. You know, that she can't be around any strangers, that she's seeing some counselors a couple times a week, and that she's just struggling.
The yellow ribbons and missing poster near the Papini home have all but faded, but the mystery over what happened to the young mom seems to be growing by the day.
Who do you think did this to her?
I don't know. And I think if she knew the whys, she would be saying. I think she's still haunted by why they took her and why they returned her.
But sources close to the case are now telling Crime Watch Daily Sherry is the victim of something you'd never expect to find in this quiet, quaint little town in Northern California.
What's the motive here?
It was sexual trafficking. I think they saw her as what appeared to be a young girl and took her for that purpose.
Those inside the investigation tell Crime Watch Daily Sherry was targeted by 2, possibly 3 Hispanic women who thought the 34-year-old mom was actually a teenager.
Normally, a middle-aged woman is not the target of sex traffickers.
But she didn't look middle-aged. If you look at her picture, she looked like she was 18 years old.
According to our sources, Sherry described her personal hellhole as a dark, dingy holding cell where she was starved.
What do you think?
I'm thinking that it could be cartel related. I mean, incident a few weeks ago, just south of Sacramento, we have 2 Hispanic women who are arrested. An Uber driver, found them bringing a minor to a hotel to traffic her. Is that connected? I don't know.
Cameron Gamble, the hostage negotiator credited for helping to bring Sherry home, believes Redding is a hunting ground for sex crimes. In fact, there are 50 registered sex offenders living within a 5-mile radius of Sherry Papini's home. And Gamble says at around the time Sherry went missing, 3 more young women in the area also mysteriously vanished. None of them have ever been found.
If you look at it just per capita, it's one of the most dangerous places for women in the U.S.
Why is that?
Well, you have a tremendous amount of transients being dumped here locally in this community. It's a breeding ground for issues.
Remember, the Shasta County Sheriff described Sherry's abductors as 2 Hispanic women. Authorities who specialize in sex crimes say traffickers often use women as decoys to ambush unsuspecting victims. The Shasta County Sheriff's Department will not confirm any of the sex trafficking allegations.
The investigation is far from over. In fact, it has only begun a new chapter.
But sources close to the investigation paint a terrifying picture for Crime Watch Daily. During her 22 days of captivity, we're told, Sherry was beaten so badly, bones were broken in her face. She was also branded like an animal and starved. Then, captors cut off huge chunks of her hair when they realized her true age. Authorities believe the torture was to demean and humiliate her.
How much does it bother you that these people have not been brought to justice?
It bothers me a lot. It bothers me that people like that think they have the right to do such horrible things to people and leave them broken. It's not okay.
Cameron believes Sherry may actually know who took her, but she's still haunted by threats.
What's the #1 control factor that traffickers have over victims? It's fear. And a lot of times it's the fear of being able to do harm to your family, especially in a local community. That may be what's going on here, that they know her so well. It's a very realistic threat.
A lot of unanswered questions here.
A lot. And they may be unanswered forever.
So I went to the home of the one person who can answer all of the questions surrounding Sherry Papini's mysterious disappearance, Sherry Papini herself.
Since she surfaced Thanksgiving, Sherry Papini has only been seen once in public. Keith, her husband, has spoken to reporters a handful of times. We thought it was time to go to their house here near Redding, California, and see if they've had anything to say.
It looked like there was someone home until I hit the front step.
Hey, Keith. Sherry, it's Chris Hansen with Crime Watch Daily. If you're home, we just wanted to talk about maybe doing an interview. Keith? There's a car and a truck in the garage. If you guys are home, I'm going to leave a card. Again, it's Chris Hansen with Crime Watch Daily. Well, it looks like someone's living here. We're not sure who exactly. There's obviously a dog on the property, kids' boots, some running shoes on the front deck, a car and a pickup truck in the garage. and a recent shipment from Amazon. When we got here, the light was on in the front room, and then after I knocked, the light went off.
Until Sherry Papini is ready to talk, we may never really know who took her or what really happened during those 22 days of hell.
Do you think we'll ever really know what happened to Sherry Papini?
I hope so. I mean, at this point, people have a right to know.
Cameron tells me since our interview, Keith Papini has reached out to thank him for his help in bringing Sherry home.
Do you think your effort led to her release?
I think so.
I would like to completely believe that we made her such a liability that they couldn't keep her. Undeniably, we brought her home.
While the Shasta County Sheriff's Department is not talking about the case, we've learned from sources close to the investigation that Sherry's injuries were so severe, she was whisked away to a top-secret recovery location, a larger medical facility. Those injuries included several broken bones in her face. Now we want to hear from you. Who do you think was behind Sherry Papini's abduction? Join the conversation right now on our Facebook page.